the young and the restless spoilers shock. Tessa stormed through the door, her heart racing with a mix of anger and desperation. The atmosphere in the house was thick with tension, and she knew exactly where to find Sharon. "You need to stay away from Mariah and Aria," Tessa demanded, her voice steady but laced with fury. The effects of Sharon's reckless behavior were tearing her family apart, and Tessa was done standing idly by. Sharon's demeanor was alarming. In her current state, she was unpredictable and aggressive, a far cry from the woman Tessa once knew. "Who do you think you are, Tessa?" Sharon spat, her eyes narrowing dangerously. "I won't let you dictate my life. You have no idea what I'm capable of when you push me." Tessa felt a shiver run down her spine. This was not the time to back down. The confrontation quickly escalated, both women standing their ground with emotions running high. Sharon, feeling cornered, was ready to fight back with all her might. Tessa's protective instincts flared, she would do anything to keep her family safe. But as tensions rose, Mariah found herself in the middle, torn between the two most important people in her life. "Please, stop," Mariah cried out, her voice breaking as she witnessed the clash of wills. "You're both acting out of control. Can't we just talk about this?" But her pleas fell on deaf ears as Tessa and Sharon continued their verbal sparring, each too entrenched in their own anger to listen. For Mariah, the pain of seeing her loved ones fight was unbearable. She couldn't imagine having to choose between Tessa, the woman she loved, and her own mother. "This isn't what I want," she pleaded, tears welling in her eyes. "You both mean so much to me, but this fighting needs to end." As the argument escalated, Sharon's frustration peaked. "If you think I'm going to let you or anyone else dictate my relationship with my family, you're mistaken," she shouted. In a moment of desperation, she resorted to a threat that sent chills down Tessa's spine. "If you don't back off, I'll make sure Aria is taken care of my way." The words hung in the air, heavy and threatening. Tessa's heart raced as she processed the implications of Sharon's threat. "You wouldn't dare," she shouted back, but deep down, she felt the fear creeping in. This was a dangerous game Sharon was playing, and Tessa knew that Sharon was unpredictable enough to follow through. "Aria is my granddaughter," Sharon continued, her voice low and menacing. "She's not your pawn, Tessa. If you don't silence yourself, I'll make sure she learns just how serious I can be." Tessa was resolute, however. "You're wrong if you think I'm afraid of you. I will protect Aria with everything I have," she declared, her fierce determination shining through. This was not just a fight for herself, it was a battle for her daughter's safety. With the stakes so high, the tension between the three women became unbearable. Tessa was willing to confront Sharon head-on, ready to fight for her family, but Mariah stood helplessly between them. The emotional toll was weighing heavily on her heart, and she feared that their rift could tear their family apart forever. In a moment of clarity, Mariah realized she had to intervene before it was too late. "I can't lose either of you," she said, her voice shaking with emotion. "We need to find a way to come together. We're family." But her attempts to mediate were met with fierce resistance from both Tessa and Sharon, who were too entrenched in their own anger and fear. As the situation spiraled out of control, Sharon's desperation drove her to take drastic measures. In an act of defiance, she concocted a plan to kidnap Aria, using her as a pawn in this dangerous game. "If you want to keep her safe, you better back down," Sharon threatened, leaving Tessa reeling. With the threat of losing Aria looming over her, Tessa's resolve only strengthened. She refused to let Sharon's madness dictate her life or her daughter's future. "You may think you can control me, but you don't know who you're dealing with," Tessa shot back, unwavering in her determination. The conflict was far from over, it was just the beginning of a long, drawn-out battle. Tessa and Sharon were locked in a fierce struggle, each unwilling to back down. Tessa was ready to fight tooth and nail to protect her family, but the emotional toll of this war was taking its toll. As the days turned into a war of attrition, both women found themselves entangled in a web of manipulation and power struggles. Tessa's fierce determination clashed with Sharon's desperate actions, and the lines between right and wrong blurred in the heat of their battle. Aria, caught in the middle of this fierce conflict, became a symbol of hope and love, a reminder of what was at stake. Tessa was determined to fight for her daughter, but the fight would not be easy.